Welcome to Casual Mania, where we bring so much damn heat. And today the topic of discussion is going to be who is next for Israel Adesanya at his next title defense, because at the moment it's a bit up in the air. Now, there are a few reasons why you could justify Poatan getting the next title shot. First of all, he just lost the belt. He was just the champion, so in some people's eyes, maybe that deserves an immediate rematch. And also, technically, he is 3-1 in combat sports over Izzy. However, those first two are in kickboxing, and when I look at it, the first one, Israel Adesanya should have won. The second one, he was getting pretty beat up until he got knocked out. That's Poatan. The third one was more or less the same, and that was in MMA. That was in the UFC. Like, look at all the work Israel Adesanya had to put in to get it to his title shot. And even since then, the amount of title defenses he's had, which earned him to get an immediate rematch after losing to Alex Pereira. Poatan, like, if we're being honest, everyone knows he got fast-tracked to the title shot. He got given a lineup of opponents that the UFC probably thought he had a good chance of beating so he could get that fight against Izzy. He was able to do it, and he was able to capture the championship in the fifth round of a fight where he was losing the majority of it. So if we're just looking overall, you take all their fights, he hasn't been winning the majority of the time, and he really just has that nuclear power that can put Adesanya out, which has got him those wins over him. So I just don't think that, based off their performances, Adesanya, I think he's proven himself to be the better fighter, especially with this conclusive knockout. Adesanya's is just, he's got way more of an extensive list of the opponents he's beaten, and Pereira really has, like, he's beat Strickland. He's like the only guy in the top 10 he's beaten, and he's the only ranked fighter, apart from that win over Adesanya, that he's actually beaten. So I just don't think he's done enough to warrant an immediate title rematch. And also, I just think there's more options from maybe moving up a weight class. And even if not, then I just think he has to fight more contenders if he wants to get that belt shot again. And even then, I just don't even know how many other opponents he'll be able to beat. If he goes against anyone who's a wrestler, I just think that's going to be a long night for him. Next up, we have Khamzat Chimaev, who immediately called out Adesanya after his fight with Poatan. And I just don't think Khamzat Chimaev is worthy of a title shot whatsoever. I don't think he's that far off. Like, he's got, well, I mean, he's only really got one great win at welterweight, and that is over Gilbert Burns. So, and even then, like, he wasn't even getting a title shot at welterweight after that victory either. And he missed weight when he was meant to fight Nate Diaz, ended up just getting the easiest win of his career against Kevin Holland. And he's just been quiet ever since. Like, I've almost forgotten he's even existed. He had so much hype behind him. People were thinking he'd be coming in, getting a championship just so quickly and easily. And the hype behind him really seems to have fallen off a lot. If you're talking about him getting a middleweight championship shot, I think he's got that one win at middleweight, which was against Gerald Meerschaert, the one-shot KO. You're just not getting a title shot after that. I'm sorry. I would be behind him facing one of the top 3 guys ranked in the division, and if he's able to get the win there, then I think that would make him deserving of a title shot. You could call that getting fast-tracked as well, because he hasn't, like, had to put on a long list of contenders. But I mean, if we're talking about title shots and how people are getting them, you can look at the likes of Islam Makhachev, Leon Edwards. They fought a bunch of guys, but no one really ranked higher up to, maybe prove themselves worthy more of a title shot than others. So, and Khamzat Chimaev has shown himself to be a skilled fighter, a high-level grappler who I think will have a good chance of being able to beat Adesanya. The third option is Dricus du Plessis. He's been putting his name out there a lot, and him and Adesanya seem to have a beef that is growing. They're arguing over who's more African, and I'm just like, okay, whatever, like, who cares? You're both African, you should be, if anything, you'd think they'd be supporting each other like they do, well, like Adesanya has done with the likes of Ngannou and Usman, but apparently not the case. Dricus, he's got a pretty good win streak going. The thing with him, though, he doesn't really look that great in any of his wins. Like, there's Darren Till, Derek Brunson, fighters who have potential to beat Dricus and be at the top of the division, but yeah, they just didn't make it happen. And Dricus, like, his cardio, it just is awful, and I don't know how highly skilled he really is at anything. Like, he gets into brawls and shit and can maintain a pace, but he always just looks like he's so out of it after the first round. I wouldn't mind him getting the next title shot, because you've got the backstory there, you've got a bit of beef building, so could make for some interesting build-up and press conferences and interviews, some good back and forth, and at the end of it, Adesanya will knock him out. So it'll be satisfying. It would be satisfying, and I wouldn't really mind it, to be honest. So Dracus du Plessis, keep doing what you're doing, keep fucking Adesanya off, because I wouldn't mind you being put in there with him. And finally, you've got the Reaper, Robert Whittaker, who, in my mind, like, he just should be next. He should be next. If Adesanya wasn't champion, Robert Whittaker would have been champion for the past few years. He's just looked so good against every single fighter who isn't Adesanya, and it really annoys me because Whittaker's one of my favourite fighters. So when he loses to Adesanya, I mean, I love Adesanya too, but, you know, Whittaker, nice, humble guy and an excellent fighter, so you want the best for him. And, like, just look at the shit he's done. He's beaten, like, he's cleared up the division just as much as Adesanya has, and he's been able to beat everyone except Adesanya. And in that second fight against Adesanya, I thought he won. Come at me all you want. He won in my eyes. It was a close fight, obviously, a really technical fight, and you probably could make an argument either way, but in my mind, I thought Whittaker did enough to get that decision, and he did as well at the time. But he's not the type of guy who's probably going to go on forever arguing about it, so I'd be more than happy for him to get a title shot. It's a bit like the Colby and Usman thing. You know, you've got Usman clearing out the division, Colby's under him, a high-level contender who can beat pretty much everyone else as well, just except for the champion. So I would be completely fine with them doing this trilogy, and maybe Adesanya will make it look easy like he did in the first fight against Whittaker, because to me there's a clear night and day difference between Adesanya in their first fight and the second fight. Everyone said a lot about it. Contender Izzy versus champ is a bit more of a dog, willing to take more risks and get in the fight than the technical chess match league kicker who tries to get the 50-45. But I don't know, I think after Izzy knocked out Powhatan like that, surely he'll have enough confidence to be the Izzy who's just starching people and smashing people on the feet. And, like, that gets me even more hyped for this potential third fight against Whittaker. I'd say Whittaker is a lot more deserving than Dracus is, but Dracus, you know, just because he's a new contender and someone that Izzy hasn't fought before, and there's a bit more of a beef there, and like, it might bring out just this complete savage side of Izzy who wants to fuck this guy up. So that kind of excites me even more than the Whittaker one, but I'd say they're probably on even level at the moment. You could argue Dracus needs to get another win before getting a title shot, but I wouldn't really mind it, to be honest. And I'm just going to bring up Jan Blachowicz, because he obviously put his name out there and was like, oh yeah, Izzy, we'll do the rematch at 185. First of all, I just don't even know if that's even in the realm of possibility. Second of all, just don't give a fuck. So I'm just writing that one off completely. That is Casual Mania for today, signing off.